What does Lamar have to do to get to that Super Bowl? Because he's been an MVP twice.
Yeah.
One vote away from being a two-time unanimous MVP, two-time first-team All-Pro, Pro Bowls. We know he's going to the Hall of Fame. But I believe he needs that one Super Bowl. Now we start talking about Lamar as one of those pantheon, one of those top 6, 7 quarterbacks with multiple because there aren't many that have multiple MVPs and Super Bowl.
But this is the thing that I think we get so jaded and distracted by things that have so many different determining factors, right? Does Brady have as many Super Bowl rings without certain rules being in place? Does Patrick Mahomes have, you know, the same amount of, if this play goes one way, that play goes another? I don't think Lamar Jackson's greatness is dictated or predicated off of him winning the Super Bowl or not.
No, he's great.
For sure.
But that EST is what we're trying to add.
For sure. But I think, like I said earlier, the Baltimore Ravens have to find a way to win the ugly game.
Yeah.
And if we can find a way to win those type of games, that's all 3 levels and 3 phases of football. That's offensively, defensively, and special teams. If we can find a way to win those type of games, then we'll be good. There's no denying that they have enough talent to win. But I don't want the pressure to be on any player to think that you got to win a Super Bowl to be labeled a great player or a generational player. We've seen it time and time again. I always ask this question because it's so paramount to putting perspective into sports. What's more important, impact or championships? You look at a guy like Allen Iverson. Is he not great?
Yes.
Does he not get the EST?
No, I think that the way I look at it, Cam, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you can be great without winning a championship. But in order for us to add the EST, you have to have won a championship. Karl Malone is a great player. Is he better than Tim Duncan because he didn't have time? He can't be. Charles Barkley is a great player. I believe you can be great without winning a championship in any sport. Barry Bonds. But you have to win championships.
But you're thinking about a lot of determining factors.
The same determining factors that went into him winning the MVP.
Which is true. But hear me out. Karl Malone was a great player and was a shot away from obtaining an NBA championship. If it wasn't for the Russell push-off, push-off crossover, and then boom, we seen Michael Jordan's last shot as a Bull. If he misses that shot, then Karl Malone, do we know him to still have that same thing? So his greatness was still, it is what it is. It's so many different things in sports that we look at and say to ourselves, I mean, let's look at Caitlin in college right now.
Yes.
All right. During this time, you know, we don't know if she's going to win the national championship.
Correct.
But her not winning the national championship, does that suppress her greatness?
No. She's still great.
You see what I'm saying?
But I can't put her in front of Taurasi. I can't put her in front of Stewie. I can't put her in the others that have multiple championships and have the same credentials. They've won Final Fours and won Finals MVP. They've won Naismith Awards. So I just, like I said, is she great? Yes, I believe you can be great without winning a championship. But in order for us to add the EST, you have to have a championship.
Say less. That's opinionated. But that's just a discussion that barbershops all across America and cigar conversations.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Without those championships, would you still look at Kobe the same way without those championships? Would you still look at Jordan the same way without those championships?
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
No.
Because I'm going to tell you this. No, you're right.
You wouldn't.
You're right. But I don't respect the championship that Kobe won with Shaq more than I appreciate the championship that he won with Lamar Odom.
Okay.
Or Powell. Okay. Or Derek Fisher. That one was a grinder. That's a person, going back to what I was saying. Right. There was some ugly wins.
Yes.
It required him to exert just as much energy on the offensive side as the defensive side. He's guarding the best player. And I'm still giving everything that I got.
Right.
But that still doesn't negate that he was on a great team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. Like, those teammates have to also understand the amount of focus that it requires. Like, when you got a great player, we can't just say, "Oh, Lamar got it."
Right.
Everybody got to raise the level. Urgency has to rise.
Yes.
And the great players brings that out from the whole organization. Patrick Mahomes does it.
Yeah.
Tom Brady has done it. And I see what you're saying, so I would agree with what you're saying.
The Panthers, the team that you spent the lion's share of your career with, how do they put Bryce Young in a situation where they can get the maximum value for what they gave to get him?
Well, I remember having a conversation with a brief conversation with him during Super Bowl. I saw him at a party, and I think he needs to understand that voicing his opinion is important.
Yes.
Some quarterbacks have that freedom too, and some don't. You ain't at the age or you can tell us who and what you want.
Yeah, you're a rookie.
Yeah, but you have to, because every offensive coordinator asks their quarterback this question. Game on the line, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 8. Gotta have a situation. Who would you prefer to throw the football to? You see what I'm saying? So, game on the line or going into the season, what do you need to be successful?
Right.
And he needs to have those answers for that. So talk to Bryce. Bryce has to obviously be open to doing it. Not doing it publicly.
Right.
Right? But doing it behind the scenes to say, listen, if we got this person in the draft, this is who I want.
Right.
That, like, I need to be protected.
Right.
And not to just think selflessly on the offensive side. Man, we need defense. We need to control, like, understanding what our division is. Because first, in any type of team atmosphere, you have to dominate your division first. Yeah. That only guarantees you that you will go to the playoffs.
Well, I'm not so sure they know what the hell they're doing, because they had an opportunity to get 2 first-rounders for Brian Burns, and they trade him to the Giants for less than that.
We have to start holding these people in management accountable. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And when a guy like me says that, it's like, what the fuck would you do? I'll tell you what I'll do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that even going back to the franchise, it's like, bro, you should not have cleaned house like you clean your house. Getting rid of a Ryan Khalil impacted that offensive line. Getting rid of a Thomas Davis impacted that defense, not just the linebackers. Losing Luke, how you lost Luke. Luke retired, right? But I do think Luke would not have retired if he knew that locker room was still going to be intact. He probably would have took some time off, right? And his health isn't important. You know, taking concussions extremely serious. But that would have been something that you would have had to consider, being a Luke Kuechly, knowing that I still got KK Short, I still got Charles Johnson, I still got Thomas Davis, I still got guys that's gonna battle with me. You dig what I'm saying? Julius Peppers. They all left, and these are the things that he had to think back and say, hold on, we ain't got none of that. I got to start over? Nah, I'm good with that. And I can't speak for Luke, but these are the things that, on hindsight, you got to think about.
Want to join Club Shay Shay? Become an official member by hitting that subscribe button, where you never know who's going to be joining us for drinks and conversation. Don't be late to the party, because you know we like to do something before 2 something.